Hello again, my fellow craft beer enthusiasts and beer lovers from around the world. It's Roy here for another episode of Brew Fetish. Today we're featuring a very excellent, highly celebrated coffee stout, also known as Breakfast Stout. This is an imperial coffee stout from Founders, a very celebrated brewery from Grand Rapids, Michigan. An awesome brewery if you hadn't had a chance to check them out. You know, they basically help lift up the reputation of Midwest craft brewers everywhere. So Founders makes an excellent celebrated breakfast stout, and it is labeled as a double chocolate coffee oatmeal stout, but I would more label it as a double coffee oatmeal chocolate stout. Emphasis on the coffee. If you love coffee, this is the beer for you. It clocks in at 60 IBUs, 8.3% alcohol, and it's used with Sumatra coffees from Indonesia and also Kona coffee from Hawaii. And Sumatra coffee, if you're not familiar with coffee, I love coffee. It's a dark flavored, kind of earthy, can be bittersweet with dark chocolates. It's got a buttery texture to it. Kona coffee is also buttery as well, so that they blend those two together, but also another dark, rich, and can have nutty and fruity flavors and sometimes a smoky finish. So I'm hoping that all of that comes through in the 2012 edition of Breakfast Stout. So let's get right into this pour. As we get into the pour of this beer, I can tell you it smells phenomenal from bottle cracking. You get all of that coffee. Now let's take a look at the texture as we pour this beer and also the color. Oh yeah, you can see that chocolatey head starting to form right now, and it's as black as ink. There's going to be no light that pierces through this at all. I use sunlight type of fluorescent light so that you can get pure colors to come through. And look at how beautiful that beer is. I'm pouring it in a tulip glass straight down the pipe to let the head come out. And just look at how beautiful, black, inky, and silky that is with the perfect chocolates type of caramel head on it. So let's get right into the taste, because just looking at that beer is making me thirsty. Again, as always, a big part of taste is actually the aroma as well. So we definitely need to first get a good whiff of this beer after it's opened up here in this tulip glass. Ooh, definitely coffee in the nose comes right out, but you can smell the sweetness that's coming either from the Kona coffee, the fruit textures from that, or maybe from the chocolate tones that are coming also from the Sumatra. It's got more of you can definitely smell sweetness that's inviting you to drink this beer. But an excellent smell on it. It smells the good side of coffee. Some coffee stouts or coffee beers can taste like spent coffee grounds, like when you throw out the coffee filter with the grounds in it. This smells like freshly roasted coffee, like when you maybe walk into your favorite coffee shop, Caribou Coffee or Starbucks or what have you, or your local coffee shop. But you can definitely smell dark chocolate underneath it too. So if you're a chocolate lover too, it is in there as well. So let's get a good taste on this 2012 Founders Breakfast Stout. That is phenomenal. You know, it's interesting because a lot of oatmeal stouts, you can taste the grain a little bit more than I do here. But because coffee is such the present flavor in the nose, the aroma, you get coffee the whole way through, but you can taste the chocolate in the middle of the flavor. It starts with coffee and finishes bitter, but in the middle, and that's got to be coming, the 60 IBUs from the hops that they're using in there. In the middle, there's a sweetness that's like where the coffee is wrapped around sweetness. It's wrapped around, it's almost like you're biting a chocolate coffee piece of candy, if you will, where in the middle there is this chocolate that rides through it. Dark chocolate, I get the bitterness is almost kind of like baker's chocolate. If you've ever tasted baker's chocolate while you're cooking, it has a bitterness to it. If you've taken your finger, dabbed it in the powder, that is what is here as well. But what an excellent beer. Coffee lovers would love it. Starts with coffee. The middle is chocolate and then finishes bitter like baker's chocolate. But there's coffee throughout the whole thing. What a phenomenal beer. And the carbonation on it is actually very, very nice. The darkness in this color would fool you into thinking that this is a heavy beer, but it's not heavy at all. The carbonation, it really accentuates the sweetness that's coming from the chocolate. It makes you just want to keep drinking this beer, and definitely can be had for breakfast. Maybe not recommended for the baby that you see on the cover of the bottle here on the Founder's Breakfast Stout, but it is that yummy where you'll be licking the spoon just like this kid is doing, and you might need a bib. What an excellent beer. The nose is pure enjoyment. The taste, every sip, just a phenomenal beer. I'm going to enjoy the rest of this beer off camera because I just want to sip on this beer very slowly. I've drank enough of it to get a great handle on it. Again, a phenomenal beer. Find a way to get a hold of this beer. Like I said, trade if you have to. Call all the liquor stores. Use beer menus if you have to. Or you can come out to Rogers Park Fine Wine and Spirits, which is where I manage beer at, and get some of this beer because we still have some of this and we're getting some more tomorrow. And it's a phenomenal beer. I'm really glad I chose this beer to do the latest Brew Fetish review. So as always, your fellow craft beer enthusiasts, for Brew Fetish, make sure you get your hands on some Founder's Breakfast Stout. If you don't know, now you know. Cheers, everybody. Pro, slancha, salud, in any language you use. Cheers.